Welcome to the Mikel Key experience, guys, and this is Mentoring Wednesday. It has been a really busy last couple weeks, guys. I've racked in over $15 million in listings, and the number one question that I've gotten over the last couple weeks is how do I make money in real estate, guys? And I just want to, before I dive into the top questions that I've received over the last couple weeks, I want to go into the story about just getting things done, guys. And I think real estate is one of those industries where, your income is going to be built around your network and how hard you're willing to work leads, guys. And so many people are on the sidelines ready to jump into the industry, but they're scared to jump because I guess they don't know how, or maybe the people that they're going to get advice from is giving them really bad advice. And I'm telling you right now, there is no better time to get into real estate, guys. There's so much information out there, leveraging YouTube or social media to learn the tips and tricks of how to get in the industry, the top reasons to get in the industry, how to put a deal together, basic real estate math. You can look up all those strategies on YouTube, guys. So now is the time for you to get into the industry. I know you've been wanting to, but you're holding yourself back. So let's start it in real estate. So obviously you want to become familiar with researching properties. You can go on Realtor.com, you can go on Zillow. And the number one reason why you want to go to these sites and get familiar with looking at properties, especially in your city, is because you can get a good idea of what properties are valued at. And what you're really looking for is that price per square foot. Okay, if you're looking in the area and you want to know potentially what houses are worth, look on Realtor.com, look on Zillow, look online, Redfin, and look for the price per square foot. And all you're doing from there is looking at the square footage of the potential house that you're looking at and then multiply it by the price per square foot. And that's kind of a high level overview of how we get familiar with the value of properties. Learning basic math. So what I always tell people is you want to take in real estate, and especially when you're looking at potential flip properties, okay, we take this thing called a 70% rule. And just a high level overview of what the 70% rule is, it says that you should not invest no more than 70% of the projected value of the property. Okay, so now if your after repair value or your ARV is $100,000, then the 70% rule says that if you add in the acquisition cost and the renovation cost, it should be no more than 70% of the value of that property, okay? Another thing you want to do is you want to meet real estate investors in your areas, guys. There's so many mentors online, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, but there are people in your city that's actually doing what you want to do. And if you meet them, you meet the local apartment guy, you meet the local property management company that's managing 100 units for a local investor. Sit down with them to see what they did to get to where they're at, and I guarantee you'll get a lot of nuggets from them, and you'll possibly get somebody that can back you if you find a good deal, an investor. So the top three things: get familiar with researching properties, learn basic real estate math, okay, by applying like the 70% rule to it, and meeting other investors. So another question I get, I'm ready, but I don't know where to start. So if you're ready to start investing, let's just use investing. Okay, if you're ready to start investing, you want to have your last 2 tax returns, your last 2 W-2s, and your last 2 paycheck stubs. That's the number one thing you need to get to submit to a bank to get pre-approved to buy property. Now, if you're not in a position where you've had a steady job, but you're good at identifying a good deal, then you could always leverage family and friends to raise capital to do your first deal. But if you're looking to go to a traditional lender, last 2 tax returns, last 2 W-2s, last 2 paycheck stubs, and that'll get the ball rolling on them trying to get you pre-approved. Okay, so the third question I've gotten is it better to flip, wholesale, or get into the rental game as it relates to becoming a real estate investor? And the best way to answer this is it all depends on your financial position. Okay, if you have no money but you want to get into real estate investing, then you're probably going to be better being a wholesaler. All right. So a high level overview of what a wholesaler is. A wholesaler finds a good deal, okay, and basically takes it to an investor who buys it and pays the wholesaler an assignment fee. All right. So there's a lot of little steps in there, but that's just a high level overview of what wholesalers do. They find deals, take it to investors, and the investors that they take them to pays them an assignment fee. Okay. Flipping houses. Okay, if you can identify distressed properties in your area, houses that are abandoned, you know, plywood over windows, grass high, nobody's living there, out of town investors, you can flip these properties by applying that 70% rule that I talked about. Okay, to buy a distressed property, renovate it, okay, put it on the market, sell it for a profit. Okay. That's a high level overview of what you do when you flip properties. Okay. Now, renting. So renting is good if you have a nest egg of cash. You know, if you're sitting on $200,000 and you can buy a rental property and start growing your assets, your passive income, making money while you sleep, then that makes more sense. Then you can start buying rental properties. But if you don't have a lot of cash built up, then you need to be a house flipper or a wholesaler. Build your cash reserves up. Obviously, if you got a 9-to-5 too, take the cash, save it, and then later on you can start buying rental properties. Okay. Another question I've gotten is, should I buy or rent? I'm tired of renting. Okay. So here's what I'll tell you. Renting is not always bad, especially for younger professionals. If you're not already in your forever position, and there's a possibility that you're going to have to move to another area, then what you want to do is you probably want to rent. But if you're in a position where you've already got a great job, you're making great money, your family is established, and you know that you're going to be in this community for a long period of time, then obviously buying benefits you. But if you don't know if you're going to be there, you know, in the next 5 years, then renting is probably a best option for you because you could just get up and go. So buying or renting is all about your situation. You know, don't get in a rush to buy a house, because if you buy and then you're in a position in a couple of years where you got to leave, but the economy is bad, you can't sell your house, you know, it can be very problematic on you transitioning to another city and buying a house in that city. So I always tell people, buying or renting is all about your current situation. If it makes sense for you to buy, then buy. But if you're not sure of where your life's going to be at over the next couple of years, then just hold off and wait. Okay. Another question I got this week was, my dad passed and I'm in the middle of a succession. I'm frustrated. They're offering me a certain number of properties, but I'm a little unsure of what to do, but I kind of want to get this done. So my advice is always hire a really experienced succession attorney. Okay. And make sure the number one thing you do is you got to understand how many assets you're actually talking about. Because when dad died, you don't know what all he owned. You could be entitled to way more property. And the fact that they're coming to you with an offer and trying to get you to accept it tells me that there's probably more assets involved, and they're just trying to hurry up and get you out the way. So hire a great attorney, okay? Wait it out and make sure you cover all your bases. Okay. How do I become a realtor? And also, I've been told that the real estate industry is saturated right now, so it may not be making the right decision. So how do you become a realtor? The first thing you do is you have to find a pre-course. So real estate, you have to take a pre-course. And once you take the pre-course, then you go sit and you take your state and your national portion of your test. All right, so there's proeducate.com. That's who I use. But you could just type in how to become a realtor in whatever state you're in, and literally it'll give you the steps to of what you got to do to become a realtor. Is the industry oversaturated? There are a lot of realtors, but there are not a lot of real estate professionals. And I want you to hear me out on why I say this, because real estate is a hustle. Okay, and it's all about building your business around growing your network, making phone calls, prospecting. But a lot of people don't want to do that. You know, if there's 10 realtors, 8 are not doing anything and 2 are working hard every day, putting 8 to 10 hours or 8 or more, more than 12 hours a day building their business. And those are the ones who's going to do 80% of all the transactions. So the 80-20 rule, 80% of all the business is really going to 20% of the realtors, and the other ones are just hit and miss. So the industry is not saturated. We need more hard workers. This could be an industry for you if you are comfortable prospecting, okay? So I want to do a development. I want to develop houses from the ground up, but I don't know where to start. So that's a open-ended question, and it can go in a lot of different directions. But here's what I'll tell you, that doing a development is fine, but I would tell you to start flipping, start building one house at a time, get your systems in place, get your subcontractors built out, and then once you get your team and your systems going, then you start doing developments and neighborhoods and stuff like that. But that could take you, 5 to 10 years to get under your belt, because you want to start small and then work your way up. All right. So don't focus on doing a development right now. Focus on building one house at a time and flipping houses and getting comfortable with the steps and the processes of what it takes to develop properties. All right. The biggest learning lessons that I've learned over the last 5 years: always keep cash on hand. Okay. Anything and everything could go wrong in real estate, and you want to have cash reserves to protect you in the event that something goes wrong. Okay. Number 2, don't ignore the numbers. Okay. If you're analyzing a deal and the numbers don't work, they don't work. Don't start subtracting things out, lowering quality, Xing out contractors, factoring in you could do work by yourself. Like, if the numbers don't work, walk on the deal. It just doesn't work. Okay. The third thing, it takes 100 deals to find one good deal, and that's so true. Don't be the person that try to make every deal work. Trust me, I've been there. I thought every deal could work. I could make it work, and that's just a recipe for disaster. The fourth one, if you get good at analyzing deals, okay, you will always make money in real estate, because guess what? If you can analyze a good deal and put a good deal together, there are millions of people out there that'll buy it from you. Okay, so one of the first things you want to get good at is finding great deals, running numbers, knowing your basic math, and then from there you're just networking and finding other investors, and you will make a lot of money. Trust me. Okay. Fifth thing, personal branding helps you find deals. I can't tell you how many deals I've gotten just because I make educational videos. People respect that. And when somebody comes to them with anything real estate, they bring it my way. All right. Your personal brand, especially on social media, okay, will help you find deals more than anything else that you could do. Trust me. So put out positive content with whatever you do, and I promise you, people will come. Okay. So I can talk to you about some of the deals that I've been able to do. So, for instance, I have several deals under contract right now. I have a $2.275 million deal under contract, an industrial warehouse. I have a $1.5 million land deal under contract. Okay. And I have a 42 unit apartment deal under contract right now for clients as a broker. And what it really came down to is my ability to just pick up the phone and call clients and listen. Okay. When you're talking to other investors, one of the greatest things you could do as a real estate professional is to just let them talk about their 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year goals, and make notes. Your clients will tell you, in the next 24 months, I expect to expand my workforce by 1,000 people, and I'm gonna need a 50,000 square foot building potentially. Ding, ding. You start looking for a 50,000 square foot building. That's how you make money. All your clients may tell you, man, I want to do a development and I'm looking for land. potentially in this area, you just shut up and let them talk. And that's how you'll be able to find deals. I got $14.9 million worth of business right now because I've literally shut up and stopped trying to tell people how good I am and just let them talk, let them tell me their business goals. And then from there, I go out and find what they're looking for. Bring it back to them and I make 3 or in some cases 6%, just based off my ability to listen.